So I will introduce.
Yes.
So it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Danfeng Yao. Danfeng got her undergraduate degree from Beijing University, one of the best institutions in China. She has 2 master's degrees, one from Indiana University and one from Princeton University. She's currently a 5th-year PhD student in Brown University, and she's working with Professor Roberto Tamasia. She spent the summer on an internship in HP Labs in New Jersey, working with Stuart Haber and Tomasz Sander and their group.
Bill Horn, he's a manager.
Yes, and their group. And her talk today is about the verification of integrity for outsourced content publishing and database queries.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. So this is my summer intern work at HP Princeton, and the group is part of a Trusted Systems Lab. All right. So I'll first start with motivations for data integrity, and I'll describe our models for outsourced computing, and then I will talk about our 2 contributions. One is the verification of third-party pseudonymized documents. The other is the verification of aggregate query results. And HP is very much into outsourcing business, and outsource is a kind of an overloaded term, and here I mean that HP is managing data and IT infrastructure and other computing resources for its clients. And here is just a list of some of its clients. And this outsourcing is a $1 billion business for HP. For example, for Procter & Gamble, it's multi-billion-dollar over 5 to 10 years. And the outsourcing usually multifaceted, so not only just the data, but also IT infrastructure, business services, and computing supports. For example, for Canadian Bank, HP is actually managing the ATM machines for the Canadian Bank, and also branch tellers, and also fraud detection systems. So it's all kinds of computing systems. And the model that we consider specifically is shown here. It consists of 3 parties. One is the data owner. The other is the service provider. We also call it the middleman, which is the role of HP. And the users are clients of the data owner. So it can be the people at Canadian and at Canada want to get money from the Canadian bank. So the data owner gives the data to the service provider, and service provider not only disseminate the data to the users, but also need to do some kind of transformation based on the user's requests. And this kind of transformation will change the presentation of the data. So then the next question is, how does the user know the data obtained from the service provider is authentic, is trustworthy? So in our trust model, we consider that the user will trust the data owner, but the user does not necessarily have to trust the service provider. So the user doesn't actually have to know anything about the service provider, the middleman. The user only have to trust the data owner and its public key, and then that is used to verify the information obtained. So this is our basic model. Now, just here is an example of what kind of transformation that we consider. And this is a redaction transformation. The digital redaction is essentially remove parts of a document. And the removed parts may be sensitive or may be unauthorized by the user, depends on the user's permissions. In recent years, a lot of government documents are declassified. So, for example, this is a military document about the Iraqi war, and you can see parts of the document. For example, the number of divisions at the bottom of the page are blackened out. And once the user obtains this kind of redacted document, how does the user make sure that this is authentic redacted version of the original one. So this is one type of transformation. And then interesting to mention is that recent years there are a couple of kind of public scandal about redaction, is because a lot of people think redaction they just copy a black ink on top of the original document, but that is not enough. So AT&T and some other organizations they release redacted document. However, the public can copy it, copy the blackened text, and then paste it into a notepad, and then see the original text. So Homeland Security actually released a 13-page document titled Redaction with Confidence to tell people how to work with Microsoft Word to transform a redacted document in a PDF form. Of course, this talk is not about how to do that kind of transformation. All right, so this is an example of another kind of transformation. It is actually a database query. Suppose the data owner gives a database to the service provider and asks the service provider to manage the database and answering queries from the users. Now, for example, the user can ask all kinds of database queries, like average salary of the employees. Now, the user only get back the 70K as a result. How does the user verify this is correctly computed? Now, if you think about this, you may ask, why just give all the database to the user? However, this may not be applicable in some problems. For example, in medical scenarios, medical records are highly sensitive information. They contain personal records. So even though the public can query the statistic of the data, the public may not be allowed to get hold of the actual individual data entries. So in that case, there is this privacy issue and how to verify the integrity of the result considering this privacy issue. Okay, then why do we care about data integrity? Data integrity, in the most common sense, you can think about adversaries may tamper with the outsourced data and then tamper with the computing facilities hosted by the service provider. So that is pictured in the lower part of this slide. When the user gets a tampered result, the user should be able to be aware of it. Besides that, the service provider also want to use this integrity proof as a tool to prove to a third-party auditor that it is compliant of certain regulations and specifications. So that's why we care about data integrity in a general sense. Now, as I told you, data integrity can be challenging, and one reason can be because of privacy issues. The user has to prove that obtain the result without actually knowing the input of the computation. And that is one challenge to this problem. And we also consider efficiency issues. Efficiency issues is that we don't want the data owner to take active participation into proving the integrity. Because in the most straightforward solution, you